to them and other agencies, which in the first few months of COVID, which allowed a lot of people to pay their rent. That's kind of wearing off. However, we are going to be applying to the state of Florida for CARES Act funding through the Florida Housing Finance Corporation, to offset the rent for people and get them current. And we're expecting that that's going to keep all the everybody paid up through December. And so it's affecting us somewhat, but there's been a lot of avenues for residents to get assistance. And so we're really thankful for that. And hopefully by the time that money runs out, the unemployment rate will go down. People will get their jobs back, or they'll pick back up on hours, and then we'll have a smooth transition back to normalcy.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for that report. And that actually feeds into, since we don't have quite a quorum yet for the approval of the minutes, which is the next item on the agenda, I'd like to offer a chairman's report. And one of the things that I wanted to speak about during that update was to give you an update on the last report I received from the Human Services Department, the Social Services Department that is managing the Rapid Response Recovery Utility and Housing Assistance Program. The last report I received was as of August 28th. And usually I'll probably get another one later today, but I wanted to give you an idea of what the county is doing to try and assist with those rent payments, and encourage Mr. Wilson, along with any apartment or rental agencies, to work with your residents in the event that they are behind in the rent and qualify. But so far, the paperwork is a bit to do, but you can apply by either calling or going online to hcflgov.net/R3 home help. And at that website is an opportunity to apply for rental assistance benefits, to help people be able to keep their rent current in the event that they've been affected by COVID. So far, as of August 28th, we had completed 6,327 applications. And that's since actually August 3rd that have been completed, or at least submitted. More than 850 new applications were submitted the week prior to August 28th. And the housing assistant requested and completed application remains around $5,200 per application, because now those benefits are available for 5 months worth of rent payments if you're behind on that, in order to keep people current, in order to avoid potential eviction notices being filed on those residents that are unable to pay their rent. The clerk has processed 454 of those payments, so they are going out, and almost 500 applications were approved by the clerk's office and sent out. So there are resources. We also got the amount that we set aside to make sure that rent payments and utility payments were available to our residents. We increased that budget of the CARE dollars to a much higher number than originally when we first rolled the program out in April. So this last phase actually increased it to a much healthier amount, and those payments will be going out before December 31st. So to Mr. Wilson's comments, well, we want to encourage not only our residents to apply in the event that they're having difficulties due to COVID and or an inability to work for COVID reasons, and then also to encourage those landlords to work with their residents to get the paperwork filed so that they're able to actually become current on their rents. And it's really important that we work very closely with our residents to make sure that those funds are available. The second item I'd like to bring up has to do with what the county is doing to assist in our mission of in creating affordable housing. Much work is being done at the Planning Commission level to identify ways.
Excuse me, is anybody
Who's speaking?
reporter? I'm getting a really bad echo on my end.
Is that the court reporter that's getting the echo?
Yes, it is.
So Heidi,
does-
Heidi, you have two sessions that are joined.
Yeah.
That's probably why you're hearing the echo. You're hearing it from two sessions. So if you want to remove the other session that you're not using, it would be hard for me to tell which one you're actively using, and I would hate to expel the one that you're currently with. So you probably have another browser minimized somewhere, floating on a different background, but I do have you logged in. So there it goes.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
Sure thing.
Yeah, that should make it better.
It did. Thank you.
Okay, great.
Chair?
Is that
Madam Chair?
Councilman Goods?
Yes, ma'am, I'm on the line. Just note for the file, I'm on the line with the clerk, on the phone.
Excellent, excellent, sir. Thank you very much for attending. We now have a quorum. Mr. Brewer, can you private label that for us, please? Thank you very much. Excellent. Okay, so any other little items before I continue? I don't see it. Okay, excellent. So what I wanted to bring to your attention is that the Hillsborough County City County Planning Commission has been tasked in updating the housing element of an unincorporated Hillsborough County plan, comprehensive plan. And with that, we're looking at ways that we can add to the housing element areas of opportunity for us to make it easier for the development of properties as it pertains to those that are near transit, and identify transit-oriented development opportunities for zoning that can help with allowing for certain benefits or incentives to develop in those areas. In addition to that, we're looking at ways that we can address some density requirements and other elements of the comprehensive plan that can assist in building whole complete communities. And that will actually help us in the area of affordable housing, since many of our affordable housing communities, when it's not a single family community project, or if it is an area that we want to focus opportunity for redevelopment or shoring up the housing stock in an area using either SHIP funds or other assets, we can make sure that those communities are displacement resistant. It allows for being able to keep communities intact. And then when we're building or adding to existing communities, we're building, giving an opportunity for affordable housing communities to be built with elements that help affordable housing communities thrive. In other words, instead of having a whole bunch of houses in one place, having mixed communities that include either community assets like community centers or farmers markets or common spaces that help communities actually thrive and do well. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. That kickoff occurs in September, and we're continuing to work on that, not only in some of our South County areas, but also around the county. That was discussed. Let's see. Actually, that report just came out, so we're right on target. That's about as new as it gets. But I wanted to bring that to your attention because I know a lot of the work that's being done in some of our subcommittees will dovetail that. Additionally, it hasn't been approved yet because the budget meeting isn't until next Thursday. But I did ask the board to consider our efforts to address our community land trust goals. And so assuming that is, received well by the Board of County Commission, we can move along that agenda of establishing the best type of community land trust that can help us meet our goals. So it's things are in the work. We had a meeting last week on the community land trust to really identify where we need assistance in moving that agenda item forward for recommendation to the Board of County Commission. And so the combination of looking for the resources to help, but also the committee's goals of actually getting one established in the best manner that works not only for our goals for community land trust strategies, but also in concert with what our municipalities or surrounding municipalities are doing. For example, with the city of Tampa, Temple Terrace, and Plant City. So with that, I don't really have any other updates other than we're about to get into, after the election, we're about to get into legislative committee meetings as the new legislature and old legislature gets together to talk about ways they are going to focus their efforts at the state level. So I would encourage all of you to pay attention to those committee meetings, to continue to be an advocate to protect the Sadowski funds, and to encourage our legislators and educate our legislators on how critically important to our economic success of our citizens and our surrounding communities, and what an element of housing, is a big part of that. We can expect that, given what's happened with COVID, that we may have some tough times next year. Our budget that's being approved right now is based on last year's economic metrics. This year, as we are keeping tabs on sales tax and other types of economically generated revenues, are expecting those revenues to come down for 2021 and 22 probably. And so it's going to be very important that we look for every opportunity to partner not only with the industries that help us create affordable housing, but with our lenders as well as with our state legislature to keep our mission moving forward. And with that, I'll turn it over to our director's report. Next item, Cheryl Howell, you're recognized. And you're muted.
Good morning, Commissioner, and good morning to our board members, to Nancy Takamori, who is our attorney, my staff that's on the line, and also to the public at large that took time to join in our effort to support and advocate for affordable housing in Hillsborough County. We have had a lot of things going on. It's extremely fast-paced these days. And so one of the things that I want to add that's not on the agenda this time is that Friday afternoon, we got notification from HUD that we received an additional $5.6 million.
Yay!
And so all of those things can help out with affordable housing. HUD dollars are used very, very differently than SHIP dollars are. And so we're gonna, and they have to be COVID-19 related. Any activities that are supported through this. And so we're gonna look at what the needs are in the community and the best way to be able to get the funding out to the community to make the greatest impact. All of these dollars will go through an RFP process. And so I just want to say that I'm grateful to HUD, grateful to you guys for your support, your advocacy for those who are out in the community, whether it's for-profit or nonprofit, supporting affordable housing. It all works, and we need all of you guys in this whole ecosystem of how affordable housing works. The next thing I want to bring up is the commissioner agenda items. We had a number of different items go before the agenda since last month. Most of these were administrative in nature. And so anytime we get any type of changing in funding or we have to first acknowledge the fact that we received the funding, and then we have to acknowledge any kind of budget adjustments that need to be made. So most of the agenda items were in reference to that. But even aside from the BOCC agenda items, we have had a couple of different RFPs that have gone out. One in particular was a housing counseling RFP that's gonna it's not going to supplant, but it's going to be another means of access for people who weren't able to get their applications processed for rental and utility assistance through a nonprofit that will provide housing counseling as well. So it won't just be rental assistance, but it'll also be mortgage assistance as well as some housing counseling involved in that. And so I'm so very proud of that. We also had an RFP that went out for acquisition and rehab of a small motel, because what we do know is that in this process that we have to create some long-term assets that are going to serve our vulnerable population over a period of time. And because we do understand that this pandemic is going to be around for quite some time, and we're going to have to look to some long-term results in this process. Hold on just a second here. You know, technology kind of works like me sometimes. I am getting a little bit older and not as nimble as I used to be. Well, one of the big ticket items that is up for discussion this time is the affordable housing available lands recommendation, and that fits right into our ideas about community land trust, in which direction we're going to go, and how we're going to utilize the current resources to support and augment any type of funding that we have, as well as policy adjustments and changes as well. So all of those things fit together. But certainly available lands is a huge resource that the county has right now. And so, you know, through the leadership of Commissioner Overman, we want to examine all of those lands so that we can look at what is feasible to come into the coffers of either a community land trust or in the Office of Affordable Housing Services to be able to keep for future use for affordable housing. And so we have Trinity Miller that's on the line right now, and Trinity is going to take us through the mapping process, how many properties we have available, how many recommended properties from affordable housing analysis that we would like for you to consider, and reasonably how many properties should or could go into affordable housing services and be maintained over time, and what it would take for that to actually culminate into units of affordable housing for people to use. Okay, so I just want to give you a few items to start off with. We have 55 total parcels that we were reviewing. We have 36 of those parcels that we looked at that would be below 400, so 399 point value and below. We looked at those parcels which we would consider for affordable housing services. 10 of those 36 parcels, the affordable housing staff is recommending for us not to really consider. For you,
portion of it for affordable housing. What's the goal when we do that? What's the percentage?
well, the real goal is for it to be kept within the affordable housing coffer until, and it gives a little bit more time to the board to review these properties more closely for real development opportunities.
Okay, so I understand that, but one of them in particular, you said would not be solely for affordable housing, but would retain a restriction that a portion of it be for affordable housing. What is our goal generally when we go into a project like that?
Oh, I typically ask for 20%.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay. In looking at all of these, with the, I mean, I thought you were pretty clear as to ones that would be, expensive for us to either mitigate brownfields or what have you. I like all of them. I do want us though to make sure that we go where we know we have a dearth, if you will, of affordable housing. We have some neighborhoods that we have transportation, but also it would be wonderful places for single families to begin moving, being able to move into those neighborhoods. So it looks to me like you had a kind of with the exception of a few clusters, like in the Orient Park area, Progress Village, places where we already know we have quite a bit of affordable housing. But I mean, my goal is to stop clustering and to move into other neighborhoods as well. So I mean, this is a lot to take in all at once, but I mean, I agree on your on the 26. I think I made note of all 26. So that's all my comments. Thank you. Thanks for answering my question.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Councilman Goods, you're recognized.
I think Ms. Donahue makes a great point that you just can't clump everybody in one area. You need to spread people out. And I think that's a good point. I think that some of the recommendations were made were some ballot choices by Ms. Howell and her group. Presentation by Ms. Miller was, I think Trinity Miller was a great presentation to kind of show us insight on the land that is available and land that will cost a lot of money to get overturned. But I think that the recommendation Ms. Howell is making, I can support the recommendation this time. The number 2 option to hold those 26 back and put those in surplus until possibly available time to move forward with those projects if possible.
Excellent, thank you. Any other questions or comments? Colleague Powell, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So if we release these back to real estate to, I assume, to sell, if we do that, do we get any of those funds that could be used for the community land trust? Like, that's kind of where I have a bit of a hindrance on wanting to release something back, if that's an avenue where we could, get some funds in order to put into those coffers so that we could go out, and acquire some lands. That's one question. And then just want to make sure that I am understanding that anything that has a score of 400 or more is a definite something that we do not want because it's too far away. I want to make sure that's correct.
So based on our matrix, that's our recommendation. Is that if they're 400 or above, our recommendation is that they go back to real estate. And so oftentimes they either are too far away. Sometimes the property is landlocked. Sometimes there are known environmental issues that could cost even millions of dollars to do cleanup. And so right now we have an opportunity to keep these 26 properties, and the other properties, which I want to say is about 29 properties, go back to real estate. Maybe they're too small to build on. Maybe they are, for a number of different reasons, that they were either surplus or continue to keep in their coffers, because some of these properties, they are working with other departments on. They are also, they may use for a P3 project, and some of them they may surplus.
So, but if we were to keep these, and then I'm just trying to figure out a way, and maybe I'm not I apologize if I keep if I'm not explaining myself thoroughly, but if we were to keep these and not release them back to real estate, and these were properties that were part of the community land trust that the trust was able to sell in order to fund itself, is that viable? Is that an option? Because some of these are, like one in particular that has an appraised as is value by the Hydas Strip for like 2.4 million. That's a nice corner piece on a hard corner, and that's going to go for a whole lot more than 2.4 million. At least it should. I mean,
Right.
2.5 today on free cash.
So what I want to say is that we're in such an early stage in developing a CLT, and when property is conveyed over to the CLT, it will have to be conveyed over to the CLT with some encumbrances on the property. So all property conveyed over to the CLT probably will not be available for them to sell necessarily, but because the meaning for having a CLT is for the development of affordable housing. So, and so those are things that we will be bringing a consultant in on. And so we're right now at a point where we're looking at getting a consultant to help develop and guide in how we would have a CLT. And so I want to say that is far out. And so because that's far out, what would happen if we kept all 56 properties? We went to real estate and say, well, we want all 55 of these properties, not 56, but we want all 55 of these properties. Realistically, some of them would automatically come off because there's other issues involved, and we really don't have the proper access. Secondly, there is a cost to us keeping those, right, and maintaining those. Then that cost would come over and come out of the local affordable housing fund. And your third question that you ask is that if the properties are sold to surplus, would some of the funding for the sale of the properties, the sale proceeds come back for affordable housing? I want to say it's my belief that there was a proposed ordinance that went forward that was approved for that, and so that would be yes, but it would be minus any other encumbrances that may be on that property. So if it was an enterprise fund property and the property sold for 2.5 million and there were $2 million of enterprise funds caught up in that property, then the $2 million of the enterprise funds would come out of that property. The 0.5 would go to for affordable housing use. Then, and that is my understanding of the ordinance.
So I think I understand where Mr. Powell is going. So the properties that are potentially encumbered, but we've been asked if we want to use it for affordable housing. What he's looking at, and I've been looking at, is if we have access to the properties are actually allocated for affordable housing, and we don't have a land trust in place yet, but we do have an affordable housing trust. It does have the capacity to receive dollars over and above what the BOCC funds, which is the $10 million.
Mm-hmm.
So if there are properties that are scored higher, but still developable, still marketable,
Mm-hmm.
but aren't necessarily well positioned for affordable housing development, for example, or zoning that goes along with it, or the enterprise, fees or fines or whatever, that might get not necessarily the best place for an affordable housing project, like right up against the interstate. There's, but it's still valuable property for other purposes. Isn't there an opportunity for us to say, yes, we'll take the property, but we're going to we're going to sell it?
Even if we don't take the property, because remember that real estate really is, they're the department that's in charge of surplus and property. So even if they surplus the property, then the funds still come back for affordable housing use.
That's what the question,
Yeah.
That's what I want to make sure is clear.
Right.
And does it go into the Affordable Housing Trust? for affordable housing development?
Well, I think it would have to be transferred over to the trust, but it comes back for affordable housing use. Now, that's the ordinance. So, Nancy, are you here?
Yes, I'm here. That's correct. It was actually a board policy that was approved in February of this year.
That's what I thought.
So then, if the property is surplus and after any enterprise fund is satisfied or other encumbrances are satisfied, any excess will be transferred in the next budget year to affordable housing to be used in accordance with the affordable housing plan.
Okay, but it doesn't say specifically that it would go directly to the Affordable Housing Trust that we have, which has a very different set of rules than just overall affordable housing.
I do believe that it refers to
The
affordable
plan.
housing. Yeah, but
And
I'd
the
have to go
plan-
back and look at the policy.
But the
Exact language.
plan comes about as a result of the trust. So the Hope Affordable Housing Fund, right?
That's correct.
The local housing plan really outlines the use of those funds, and so any funds that go in there, so it's tied together.
The finance accounting person in me is saying, okay, this is one bucket, Affordable Housing Trust. This is another bucket. This is our SHIP funds, Affordable Housing Plan, overall dollars, CDBG, everything else. So what I'm
They're all
hearing,
different.
they're all different buckets, right? So my question is the ordinance that was passed earlier in the year, and is the question we are being asked to consider those properties that that have been, real estate has come to us and said, hi, these are properties you guys, the Affordable Housing Advisory Board and the OCC will approve for affordable housing's use. And we identify, for example, and I need someone to make a motion here, obviously, but we've identified anything that scores 300 and below, because that's good, it should be allocated towards the development of affordable housing. Anything above that, they can be released for sale or whatever use, but the proceeds of whatever happens with that property comes back to affordable housing. Is that net of encumbrances it has? And that would go into the Affordable Housing Trust that is funded by the BOCC each year at a goal of $10 million. So it would add to the $10 million. Is that correct?
I can read you
That's my
the
belief.
exact language from the policy, Commissioner. What it says is that proceeds from a surplus real property sale that do not have these accompanying restrictions, that is, restrictions that would require repayment, will be considered during the following year's budget process as appropriate excess proceeds for inclusion in the Affordable Housing Services Department budget in a manner consistent with the local affordable housing plan, which is the biennial plan. So it does say that the proceeds will be considered during the following year's budget for inclusion in the affordable housing budget, consistent with the biennial plan.
Okay, but it doesn't say over and above what the BOCC committed to on an annualized basis of the $10 million going to the Housing Trust.
It does not expressly say that, no.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And that would need to be revised. We would have to have a motion to make a recommendation and then ask the BOCC to consider approving it as an amendment to that particular ordinance, correct?
And that was just a policy, Commissioner, so it was not an ordinance, but yes, it would need to be modified by the Board of County Commissioners if you were interested in doing so.
Okay. What I don't want to do is look at this surplus land and see where it generates a lot of revenue, have it replace the dollars of the $10 million that's been committed by the board.
Agree.
I think it should supplement the $10 million that in order to allow that to grow, because 10 million only goes so far. it can't build a whole project. It could build a few homes, but it can't necessarily help with supplementing or matching dollars. So building up that trust, given that it does, move over from year to year, is, I believe, a good policy goal that we could adopt. But if our current policy isn't clear, I think it is going to not go where it needs to go. So any other comment or questions regarding that matter?
No, I agree with you.
Is
I'd like to be
everyone,
recognized.
Mr. Harden, you're recognized?
Thanks for the presentation on the available properties. It was a good presentation. And your analysis of the parcel specifics, I guess, given the nature of the whole discussion, I think there are some subject matter experts on the board. I think, while the analysis is, there's a lot of detail, it would be interesting to have some more information, like what the these enterprise zone encumbrances are, and some other information before we turn these back. And then I guess, additionally, I would ask, the commissioner, if these are parcels that are committed to us, and that if we had them in our community land trust, or if they were given over at some point, we might benefit from them as the discussion. I mean, is it better for us to not release them prior to you, taking the matter up with the whole board, that this would be additive to the budget rather than just another way to fund the 10 million?
That's
So
a very
I
good
guess
question.
specifically, and I'm sorry, I'll cede the floor in a minute, but so specifically, also, I'm not sure that I'm completely on board with turning back all the parcels that we're discussing, having a motion to turn back today. So I appreciate the detail, but it would be nice to understand these encumbrances, the access issue on the New Tampa parcel, some of those things. And I'd be happy to look at it closer prior to the next board meeting. I'm just not sure why parcels that are very suitable for development. I think additionally, to understand the Sheldon Road treatment plant facility and what environmental issues may be there, stuff like that would be nice to have some more information on prior to us turning them back.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, thank you, Mr. Harden. I do see Councilman Good's hand, and then I'll call on Councilwoman Donahue.
Thank you, Madam. Thank you, Madam Chair. Ms. Howe, is there a timeline that we've got to make a decision on this? I kind of, after hearing what Mr. Harden says, I kind of concur with what he's saying. Maybe we need to look at those other questions, things that are in question, to make sure we're full apprised on where we need to go. So I'm just wondering, is there a timeline you're looking at, or are we pressed for time to make a motion today?
No, there's not a timeline that we're looking at in affordable housing. One of the things that I do want to say that is that I think it's important for us to look at the properties and what could realistically be done in a relatively short period of time, and I mean 3 years or less in terms of development. I'm sure you want to look at some long-term strategies. The other thing that I want to say is that any properties that will be surplus, even if you say we're going to keep them in affordable housing doesn't surplus properties. We'll take the properties and put them out for RFP, and after, if they're
Uh-oh, we lost Miss Howell.
Oh,
All right, give her a minute. She'll be back in a sec. I think where she's going with this is that the properties, think what, okay, you're back.
right. So we don't want to be in this vicious cycle, where the property.
have we been on too long?
No, but I know that the county is having problems because my county line just went down for a sec. The good news is we're still here, but she'll have to reconnect in a second. I think I think where she was going with this is the properties stay in our basket of opportunity until we decide, if we want to definitely commit and identify those properties for affordable housing. One, so for example, what Ms. Miller presented was, based on their scoring method of identifying properties that are suitable for affordable housing, anything under 300 was, or the 26 specifically that were referenced, seemed to be best utilized for affordable housing development. Anything over that, we need to address, even though it would stay in the affordable housing opportunity to do something with, needs further review. And whether or not we then say,
Can you hear me?
we're almost there, But let me finish this sentence and I'll let you come back in because I was trying to interpret what you were saying. Those properties over and above the 300 that have some potential, but aren't as high as the 300 score, for example, or the 26 that were identified. Those could still be in benefit affordable housing, but they need further review, by the advisory board for recommendation to the board for whether or not they stay in affordable housing potential and then the proceeds sell and come to us, or whether or not there's just too long of a timeline for affordable housing to take on the maintenance and the requirements to do that. It doesn't ever look like it'll get there, or is not really developable, and then we pull it out of our list of available portfolio. And then whatever happens to it, but it doesn't stay earmarked per se for affordable housing. So I'm going to make a recommendation and see if anyone's willing to take the motion route with this. But we've heard 26 properties today that appear to be appropriate for affordable housing development at some point in time based on our based on our rankings. And those we need to let real estate know that we're committed to those. We have not gotten a consensus from the board on the remaining of it. And that may be because there was a lot of information that we were given without necessarily understanding what we were looking at. So for the remaining properties that have not been highlighted, the list versus the 26, that I recommend that the board review the links that we now have that Ms. Miller showed us, take a look at those properties, and then address that at either the next board meeting or the December meeting, so that we're able to provide some guidance to not only our affordable housing department, but also the real estate folks, so that we could figure out when, the first of the year starts, we have some clarity about which properties might be best transferred to a land trust if we have one, or have them released for having them handled and sold, and then proceeds come back to the Affordable Housing Development Trust. Okay, so that trust could grow. So that's sort of where I think the conversation's going, but I do need to see or entertain not only Ms. Takamori's guidance on how those motions might be considered, and then and what things we need to make sure we take into consideration before entertaining a motion and voting on it.
Commissioner?
Yes.
Okay, this is
Okay,
Nancy.
we can hear you now.
Okay. But I think certainly a motion could be entertained for affordable housing to retain the 26 properties and then to defer consideration on the remaining properties till your next meeting or subsequent meeting when the board has sufficient time to prepare and review.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, could Councilman Goods second it? Who made the motion?
I did.
Cody.
Okay. Okay, so we have a motion by Cody Powell, seconded by Councilman Goods. Any further discussion? Seeing Mr. Harden, your hand is raised. Are you interested in commenting on that, or is it just
I'll
left?
put it down.
Okay, great, thank you. Seeing no other hands or waving arms, please take the roll for the vote.
Overman,
Yes.
Rosenwasser, Mark Rosenwasser,
Mark, you're still muted. Mark, you're still muted.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you now.
Yes.
Burden, Connie Burden,
Yes.
Donahue,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Goods,
Yes.
Hardin,
Yes.
Combs.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously.
Excellent, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Great
Um,
presentation.
All right, and I have our federal, state, local grant updates.
Madam Chair,
Before
for Ms. Haugen.
We're running a little late. Before we run, get any longer, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the minutes for July, August, and,
Motion to approve the minutes.
okay,
I'll second that motion.
excellent. Seeing no discussion, please take a roll call on the motion made by Councilman Goods and second by Director Combs.
Overman,
Yes.
Rosenwasser,
Yes.
Burden,
Yes.
Yes.
Donahue,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Goods,
Yes.
Hardin,
Yes.
Combs.
Yes.
Motion carried unanimously.
Excellent, thank you very much.
Madam Chair,
Yes, sir, you're
Are
good to
there-
recognize.
are there any other motions that we need to make? I'm already behind on the 1 o'clock meeting. My aide's already texted me already. So are there any other motions to make sure you have a quorum? I don't want to leave without you having a quorum.
Not that I'm aware of, sir. Thank you for asking.
All right, well, I'm going to sign off. I've got to get this meeting, but thank you very much for your leadership.
Thank you. Appreciate you being here.
Stay healthy.
Okay, Ms. Howell, would you like to proceed with the contracts?
Updates. Yes.
Updates, right.
And so under our federal, state, and local grant updates, as I said earlier, we did just get notice from the federal government on Friday that we were going to receive an additional $5.6 million for unincorporated Hillsborough County. And also, we're not sure how much additional CRF money we're going to receive, but we do have noticed that we will be receiving some additional CRF dollars as well. And the CRF dollars come from the state of Florida, and they're for COVID-19 activities. The federal and the state funding will be for direct COVID-19 activities. And so we have a wonderful newsletter where we highlight different activities. We've included that as well in your packet. And was there any other issues, anything else that we needed to cover? I don't think so. Not from my division, but I do not remember the outcome from COT. Whether or not we received approval to move forward with trying to retain a consultant commissioner.
I'm going to ask, got a lot of feedback here. I'm going to ask Director Combs, who chairs that committee, to give us a short report on that. And then the next item we have is future business, so that that can be addressed at that time. Director Combs, you're recognized.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner. Appreciate it. So our CLT did meet and we discussed several items on our agenda, but specifically how to move forward with the creation of a CLT. And the motion that came out of that meeting, to sum it up quickly, was a motion made by Commissioner Overman for the board to ask affordable housing staff to request a consultant to move forward in the process of establishing a CLT. And so that is the motion that was carried. It was also supported and approved by the committee, and we're taking it to this board in order to hopefully get it. I believe we need another motion to be able to carry this forward in terms of having affordable housing staff reach out and get some quotes for a consultant to move us forward in our education and resources for CLT.
Okay, great. Thank you very much for that report. I've actually presented to the BOCC the need for funding for such a project. If it looks like we're going to get some positive response to that request, then approving next month the recommendation to go out to RFP or do the research, can be approved and then recommend to the board to ask for board approval for putting that RFP forward. It's kind of a quirky way to do it, but I know that we just lost our quorum, I believe. And if that is the case, we will need to vote on that next month. But I appreciate you bringing that to our attention, and that way we can be ready to go next month on putting it out to either bid or determining with procurement whether it's a sole source type of circumstance.
Right. And so staff has began working, doing all the groundwork on this. So we'll be all ready and prepared by the time we get into next month's discussion. So, but great job from the subcommittee in really pushing an action item forward.
Excellent, thank you.
Nancy, I think you may have six voting members, in which case you would have a quorum. If the calling user is Ms. Burton?
Yes, it is. Right, Connie Burton, you're 813499?
Yes.
Excellent. Yay. So since we still have...
I move to approve.
Okay. So we have a motion to approve moving forward on exploring ways that the best solution for establishing a CLT.
Second.
Community Land Trust. And a second by Cody Powell. Please take the roll before we lose our quorum.
Yes, ma'am. Overman,
Yes.
Rosenwasser, Mark Rosenwasser.
He is there.
Yes.
Okay. Burden,
Yes.
Donahue,
Yes.
Powell,
Yes.
Hardin,
Uh-oh. I think we lost Adam.
We still had six.
we still
One,
have
two, three.
Sarah,
Okay.
Sarah Combs.
Yes.
Okay. So motion carried unanimously. We still have our quorum, so we're good.
Yay. So, okay, well, excellent. And then assuming there's no other items for discussion, we wanted to entertain future business, future
I
items.
just want to make a comment.
Ms. Donahue, you're recognized.
I want to thank you for sending me to the virtual Florida Housing Summit. If you don't know why you sit on this, you need to attend something like that. I wish I could convince all of my fellow city councilmen to attend even a portion of something like that. It's not that it turned into a social justice awareness campaign, but it was definitely a reason for us to act because of what has been done in the past. And for we hold in our hands the ability to make major change. And I mean, there were a couple of comments during the meeting where people would say, I have to step away. This is just too much. It's just too much. But then no one left. It was like you couldn't step away. You had to just keep listening. So it's, if you ever think that this is not a good reason to spend 3 days of your time, it's, please, anybody ask me in the future, I'll say, sign up, and we need to send as many people and invite others who do not understand the work we do to attend. It was an amazing 3 days, I have to say. So thank you for letting me make that comment.
Thank you, Ms. Donahue. I appreciate that.
Very impactful work. So.
Absolutely. And the beauty of the conference is that if you were registered and you did register, you could go back and listen to any of those presentations at any time to get a refresher on certain topics, on pulling data or information for your advocacy for affordable housing when you're speaking with legislators. But one other item, and this is an immediate future business item, call your other county commissioners and help them know how committed we are and that we approved the moving forward with the establishing of the recommendation for a land trust, so that I might be successful in getting us some funding on Thursday evening. So spend some time between now and say more Thursday morning speaking with your other commissioners to help them understand the value of the work that's being done here. And I just want to thank all of you for putting in not only your hard work, but your passion for affordable housing to good works. With that, Ms. Cheryl, Ms. Howell, do you have any other items that you wanted to discuss?
No, I just want to thank my staff that's online, and the leadership staff is online. They do tremendous work all the time, and making the magic happens. The magic is not really magic; it's really hard work. So
It's really hard work.
I just want to say thank you to the staff. Thank you for your leadership, Commissioner Overman, and thank you for the tremendous support I received from this board as well.
Excellent, excellent. And with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Oh, I'm
can you
sorry.
hear me?
I
Can you hear me?
can. Mark, is that you?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Two things. Can you repeat, since we provide sanitized workstations for people to apply for assistance on rent payment, can you repeat that website, please?
Oh, for the rental assistance program?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, it is. If you go to the hillsborocounty.org site, it's the R3 Home Help. So the website address actually is www.hc as in Charlie or county, hcflgov.net/R3 Home Help. And you'll find information there. And if you don't have access to the internet, you can call 1-866-538-2926. The call center is open from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday.
And we'll make sure we send out that information. We'll email out the application information with the website, the numbers, the process, the paperwork that's needed, everything to everyone on this board today.
Excellent.
Thank you very much, Ms. Howell. And do we have the next date set for the Plans Committee?
No.
For what committee?
Land lease.
Land lease.
Trust.
For the CLT?
Trust, I'm sorry.
We're still waiting on approval.
Oh, for the trust.
Yeah, we're still waiting on approval from our calendar staff. So as soon as that approval is available, then I will send that out to the committee members.
Right. So it's a lot different now virtually because we have to get approval. And then sometimes we get bumped in trying to plan and schedule the virtual meetings. And so not really a staff issue, but it's really an issue of timing and availability of the technical staff to be present to do these meetings. So there's not a whole lot of James Brewers in in the county, and so we're really lucky to have him. But with that being said, that's where the challenge lies.
And just as a reminder, our next regular Affordable Housing Advisory Board meeting is Monday, October 12th. It's currently scheduled for 9 a.m. and hopefully we won't get bumped again. But the goal, it is actually on the BOCC calendar. So mark your calendars. You'll be receiving a draft agenda prior to that time period. And we're going to look to try and see if it's possible to get the actual full agenda attached to the calendar date so that if that makes it easier for you to get a current agenda that you can reference that online as well.
And
We will
we'll
have that
coordinate
ready
that
for the
with
next
James.
meeting, Commissioner Overman.
Excellent. Thank you very, very much. So seeing no further comments or waving hands or juggling persons, yeah, like, hi. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved.
So moved.
Okay, assuming all in favor, you guys have a wonderful, fabulous day, and thank you so much for being here today.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you,
Enjoy the
Commissioner.
rest of your day.
Great
Bye-bye.
work.
Thanks so much.
Bye-bye. Thank you.